Hi everybody, it's Deanna with toolsofenergyprotection.com, your energy shift expert, where I teach highly sensitive people and spiritually gifted people how to live a life full of joy and harmony and peace. And tonight is the 22nd of May, 2018, and I'm so glad that each and every one of you waited a little bit longer for me to get on tonight. Hi Cherie, blessings to you. Hi Tracy, blessings to you. On Tuesday night, right before this broadcast, I have a inner circle where we all get together and talk about the current energy shifts. Hi Judy, hi Tracy, hi Kendall, hi Anna. Thank you all for coming. But on Tuesday nights, before I do the Facebook Live, I get on and I have a special group of women, and we get together and we talk about the shifts that are going on in the planet right now. Hi, Brandy. And what's going on in the planet and how that relates to the Bible and how that relates to all of our lives. And it's so super exciting. It's one of the favorite things that I've come to love to do right next to Facebook Live. Hi, Randy, you made it. I'm so excited. So I have a lot to share tonight, and I'm so glad that each one of you join me, and those that are joining later on YouTube or on my WordPress site, thank you so much. So first of all, I want you to know how devoted I am to you and how much I love you so much, because as you know, if you follow me on Facebook and you look in my feed here, I'll put little things about the Colorado Eagles hockey team. I've come to know them and really like them. They're a great bunch of guys and they play hard, and it's a base chakra kind of thing. Hi, Kelly. But it's really an amazing game. It's very quick, it's very fast, it's very grounding and root chakra like. And tonight my beloved Eagles are up 1-0, I found out, and hopefully they'll win tonight, and then they'll be off for the cup, and so that's super exciting. Anyways, enough about me. Let's talk about what's coming up. So as you know, a couple months ago I announced that here at toolsofenergyprotection.com we are changing the platform of how that we interact and how that I work with people. So my beautiful assistant and I have been working so diligently to get things ready for you so you can partake in them and expand your spiritual gifts. And so I have a question for you before we get started on the spirit guides, and that is, what is going on in your world? Why is it that you're not talking to your spirit guides? Why are you not asking them for things? Why are you not receiving the things that they bring to you? If you are spiritually gifted or aware or highly sensitive, you probably feel these spirit beings around you. You might see things out of the corner of your eye. You might hear things, and you might have been ignoring them for a really long period of time because they're scary. And they are. So I'm going to ask you why it is you're so afraid. What is it that causes you the most fear? And if you will please put that into the chat. I have a chat here on this camera, and I have a chat on my laptop. So if you see the reflection, that's what it is, my laptop, because the desired outcome is that I keep up with that. I know one time I had so many people responding I couldn't read in the feed fast enough, so we've done some things to fix that. Hi, Ed. So one gal says she's not sure why she's so afraid. So, spirit guides. I had a lady that I worked with this week. If she's watching, I'm not going to say who it is, but I hope she doesn't mind that I use what she related to me as being her reasons for being afraid. And spirit guides, first of all, are very real, and they actually are biblical, and there is some debate on who spirit guides really are, and it depends on where you are biblically oriented, where you are spiritually oriented as to what spirit guides are. And if you remember, if you sorry, Ed says, hello from Yogi Bear World. Hi, Ed. I hope the bears aren't biting. Okay, anyway, shiny object. So spirit guides, like I said, it depends on where you are spiritually to how that you orient yourself in understanding who and what they are. But my bottom line with you tonight is to let you know not to be afraid of them, okay? And I'm going to do a little shameless self-advertising for the moment, but on my website, toolsofenergyprotection.com, I have a class called Spiritual Level 1. And in that class, one of the things I talk about are spirit guides. And who are they? And what are they telling you? And how can you sense it? How can you know it? How can you understand it? So I'm going to ask you a little bit later to think about, if you stay stuck where you are, if you stay in fear where you are, how are they going to work with you going forward? How are they going to help you make that next step in life? You've been asking God for help? Have you been praying and saying, please help me in my time of need? Please show me the way? Or perhaps some of you are more spirit-oriented and you're saying, universe, show me what's happening. You know, I'm doing the law. I had a lady I talked to this week doing the law of abundance or manifesting, you know, the secret laws. Sorry, I can't think. But she was speaking out over her life, which I said to do in a video. She said, I speak out over my life and things have gotten worse. What's up, Deanna? Right? So I called her and talked to her for a moment to let her know that when you speak out over your life, you have to answer the answers that are being given to you. So, you know, if you ask me for something to drink and I hand you a glass of water, you can stare at the water all day long, but if you don't take it and drink it, you're going to be thirsty. It's that simple. So in my Spirit Level 1 class, we talk about how does that happen for you? Who are they? What messages are they sending you? And oftentimes it's answers to your prayers, your requests, speaking out over your life. All right. Okay. So someone says they worry not hearing or interrupting correctly. I'm not exactly sure if I can connect with that. Kelly, if you can make that a little bit more clear. But I think what you're asking is being able to have clear knowing of what they're saying. You might want to text me a little bit more. Hi, Christy. I'm glad you made it. Hi, Renee. Glad you made it. And then Anna says, sometimes we get afraid whether dark entities are lurking by. Oh, that's a perfect question. So let me get into that as part of my share. I do, if you've listened or been with me before, you know that I will write things out on toolsofenergyprotection.com. Hi, Candace. And then, hi, Kelly. Oh, yes. Okay. So I write things out on toolsofenergyprotection.com telling you what's coming up, and I send out emails, and then I do the best I can to stick to that, because there's, to me, if you say you're going to do it, you ought to do it. Let me go back here a second. Kelly, since you said yes, let's see if I can get your question just right here. So, it's not letting me go back in there. But anyway, you're wanting to know if, hi Jeff. Sorry, Kelly, I'm looking for it in the feed here so I can, okay. Worry about not hearing or interrupting correctly. Okay, so spirit beings, like I said, there's several different schools of thought about who they are and what they're saying and all that. When spirit beings speak to you and you learn to hear them, as long as you're not in fear and you can keep your knees from knocking together and being able to sense who they are, then you'll know what they're saying and you don't have to have a fear of interrupting you, because if they haven't finished their message, they will come back and they will tell you. So there's no fear in that whatsoever. Oh, interpretation. Okay, the interpretation. Yes, Kelly, perfectly. Yes, sometimes angels will speak to us, sometimes or spirit guides will speak to us, and we're not quite sure how to interpret what they're saying. Well, let me see if I have it here. Just so you know you're not alone, Kelly, there's this big book called the Bible, and it's full of dreams of prophets, and they didn't always understand what was being told to them either, so you're in good company. But there are ways to infer what they're saying. It's usually based on what you've asked. Think about what you've asked God, Spirit, or Source of the universe for, and they're answering your prayer, and they're giving you information. And hi, Nicole. Good to have you aboard. And that information will come into your conscious brain, and then it gets interpreted in the consciousness. So you may not always, have little cue cards from them about what they're saying, but it will become more clear. So Kelly, I would ask you to think about your life, think about what you're asking for. Where are you in space and time? And then what those answers would relate to is where you are, if that makes more sense to you. So just later when I do, I'm repeating these subjects about one every 6 weeks, and so when I come back to it and I talk more about angels, I will talk more about God's Spirit or Source and how we can hear that. It's a little bit different. And when we hear those voices, people ask me, is it mine or is it my ego's? And that's a whole different dynamic. Okay, great, Kelly. Okay, so let me get back to the questions. You're welcome. If you've heard voices speaking to you before and thought you might be a little crazy, then you're probably curious about whom or what is speaking to you. So to be quite blunt about it, God's Spirit or Source does speak to us, but he speaks to us through a great power, a power that surrounds us. Some people call it Zen or Chi or the Force if you're into Star Wars. And so it surrounds us and helps us out. And the big question is, yes, there are people that hear voices, and it's a chemical disturbance in the brain, and they do have to seek help through Western medicine. That is normal. Well, not normal, but it's normal. But if you have a voice that speaks to you, then the first thing I'd like for you to thank you for the for the hearts and the smiley faces. The first thing I would ask you to do is to think about what was being said to you. Is it a clear voice? Is it very distinct? Is it a high twirl in your ear? But if voices are speaking to you, I'm going to ask you to hold out two of your hands, unless you're driving, and I hope you're hearing me through your car speakers. Hi, Tracy. But I'd like for you to hold up both of your hands if they're available. And when you hear a voice talk to you, in one hand, I'd like for you to think, is this voice giving me joy and peace and harmony and guidance? Or is this voice helping me feel fearful, depressed, worthless? And weigh those two. If it's the one that's telling you you're not worthy, or is basically taking you and beating you up with an ugly stick, that is not the voice of God, Spirit, Source, or angels. Simply not. Throw it out. Okay? This is the voice you're looking for. It's usually uplifting, suggestive. It may tell you to do something that you wouldn't normally think of doing. And when you do it, you find out there's a great result. Again, it has to be positive. If it tells you to go jump off a cliff, that's in this bucket. Not in this bucket. So, again, on the Spiritual Level 1 class, we go into a little bit more depth about who's speaking to you, what they're talking about, what guidance they're giving, and helping you along your path. So my question to you is, if you choose not to engage with me and take a class like that, if you're really curious and you're really in fear, then where are you going to be 5 years from now? Are you still going to be wondering who's talking to you, thinking that you're nuts? Maybe you really aren't nuts? Are you going to, I have people that tell me that they wake up in the middle of the night hearing their name called, and that can be terrifying. And it's hard to sleep at night. Is that what you want? The other thing is knowing if that voice is yours or spirit beings or God's. Again, it's what is it telling you? Is it helping you? Is it comforting you? There's people that have had near-death experiences, and they hear a voice that says, you know, get up and walk, or do this or do that, something supernatural or superhuman, and they do it and it saves their life. Is that a demon? Is that a dark entity? I don't think so. I know that's simplistic, but that's where to start. Open your heart and listen. And I know it can be terrifying when voices talk to you, because for me, sometimes I hear them in here. That's like a thought, maybe your ego or something. And sometimes I literally hear them in my ear. Like if you came and stood next to me and went, psst, you know, that kind of thing. They can be scary. But weigh them. I've given you a tool of 2 buckets. You've got to be able to get past the fear to use the buckets. Hi, Nikki. So remember, listen to the voice. What is it telling you? Is it telling you that you're unworthy, that you're no good, that you're junk? Or is it saying, hey, at the next stoplight, linger 2 seconds longer than you normally would? What the heck? I mean, as long as nobody's going to hit you from behind, you know, if you're at a full stop, wait. And you notice that car comes right in front of you, that if you'd gone, it would have hit you. That's how you know that those are your spirit guides. And they do exist. None of us are truly alone. Even when you think you're alone, you're not alone. Please don't let that scare you. Then one of the most popular questions I receive is, how do you know who's speaking to you, and why are they speaking to you? And we've covered that. I do share a little bit more about how to know who's speaking to you in my classes and my private sessions, but for the purposes of tonight, just know that what you're looking for is these 2 buckets, okay? My knees used to knock when spirit beings would talk to me. I was so afraid. And it took a while for me to be able to stand firm and breathe and go, you're going to be okay, you're going to be okay, you're going to be okay. And then I began to listen to what they were saying to me. And some of them are nasty little critters. You know, I work for God, Spirit, or Source. And there have been times when I've gone into people's houses and I've literally cast demons out. And when you do that kind of work, the darkness doesn't like you so much, and you become, you know, sometimes a target. So I have literally wrestled with demons. I didn't always come out victorious. Got my butt kicked a couple times and slept for 2 or 3 days, but ultimately the angels and forces of light come and took them away from me and protected me, you know. But I had to get a little bit in that situation to learn what that can be like, so I can help others, if that makes sense. Maybe that's too much of a reveal. Anyway, but this time I hope you've got pen and paper ready, because I have some really super exciting things I'd like to share with you. Number one, today is May 22nd, 2018, in case you're watching the rebroadcast. And this coming up Friday, I am going to be at For Heaven's Sakes Books in Denver, and that's on Friday. I am there on Thursday too, doing what I normally do in the consult and all that. But Friday is going to be a fair day, which means that they have special pricing. And so if you're interested in getting in with me, I called the bookstore. There's a few slots left, and their number is 303-964-9339. And they are in Denver, Colorado. So you can click on my website at toolsofenergyprotection.com. You can click under, I think it is contact. Where do we stick it? Oh, events and certificates. And it'll have some more information there for you. And so that's a $40 savings off of my normal hourly rate. So you want to get in soon. I do half hours too, but but if you've been waiting for that special and you're having a little abundance challenges, make sure that you get on that schedule as soon as you can, because I know it's going to be just absolutely packed, solid back to back. I will be there Thursday if you can't get on the schedule on Friday, but it is the normal pricing. And then I will be putting up here and in my email and on the website, I'm going to do another flash sale on Monday, because I had quite a few clients call me and they say, hey, you know, will you do another sale, because I'm going to be off Memorial Day and I really want to talk to you, and I can't because you know, I normally can't see you on the weekends, but I have time on Monday, so I will be posting a flash sale. And again, I'll advertise it here on Facebook, and I'll put it on my website, and I'll send it out in an email and open up that on my schedule, so you'll want to grab those really quickly. The flash sale is on Monday, Memorial Day, so those will be available to you. And then I've had people begging me to teach another pendulum class. They want to know how to dowse, they want to know how to intuit, which, by the way, if you look back in the Old Testament and read about Moses, he used a divining rod, a stick for dowsing, like water dowsing. So just know that that's where that comes from. And so I will be in Lakewood, and again, this is on my events page, or you can private message me. But I will be in Lakewood. Let me see, where did I write that date down? Oh, darn. I might have to put it up. I thought I wrote it down. See, that's what happens when you have a busy day. You don't get your cue cards already. But anyways, it is coming up. And then I have something else I wanted to share with you really quickly, because I'm looking for some beta testers for a new program I have coming out. So while I'm pulling that pendulum class up, so I'm putting together a class on self-love, because I've had so many women. June 14th, thank you, Anna. Yay, Anna, thank you. June 14th, yes. June 14th is when the pendulum class is coming up. And so I'll repost it again in the Facebook feed, and of course it's on my live events. And we are hosting it at the For Heaven's Sakes bookstore in Lakewood. They have a brand new location. It's so awesome. You should come by and see it. They have so many beautiful stones and jewelry and an art gallery. So we are doing this pendulum class for beginners. It's going to be Thursday from about 7 to 9. And if you buy the tickets in advance, you're going to save $5, and if you come in couples, you can save a little bit more. And then in this class, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the spiritual guides. I'm also going to introduce you to your guidance. So if you want to know who your spirit guides are, come, because that night I'm going to help you with a meditation to go up and be with them and received a gift from them. And I did have somebody ask me, they're like, Deanna, why are you teaching these pendulum classes when I can go online and I can see them for free? And I'm like, then go. You know, because if you can get something for free on the internet and it profits you, go do it. I love you and I bless you and I release you. But I'm telling you now, if you come and sit with me, you're going to be in the vibrational energy frequency that I resonate in, the higher level frequency. And people that come and sit with me and learn that class, not only do I introduce you to your spiritual level guides, not only do I open that channel for you to receive gifts that you need in the here and now for the dowsing, but if you have trouble and you're getting it for free on the internet, who are you going to ask questions? Are you just going to be frustrated and go away and say, it didn't work for me? Are you going to go on in confusion and you're dowsing? And I know sometimes people say, well, ask the pendulum what yes and no is, and you get 2 circles to the left and 1 circle to the right for no. How confusing is that? So I'm going to teach you very clearly, very precisely how to use it as a divine tool from the creator source of all. Moses used one. Okay? And it's in the New Testament too. In the New Testament, Jesus tells his disciples not to take anything with them when they go out except for one thing, which is with their staff. And if you go and look it up in the Greek, a staff was not only something that they carried so that, you know, when you saw people coming, you knew what tribe they were from. And it was also used to protect themselves, but it was also used to dowse or muscle test. If you don't know what muscle testing is, look it up. Dowsing and muscle testing, idiometer response, it's all the same thing. There's nothing woo-woo about it. It's just normal. It's something everybody can do if they know how. So I'm going to get off my soapbox, sorry, but it just really bothers me that people think it's woo-woo, and it really isn't. All right. Hi, Tanya. I'm glad that you're aboard with us. And again, if any of you are jumping in halfway through, I will repost this on Facebook so that you can watch the feed a little bit later and on YouTube. Okay, so if you'd like to get with me, come to the store on Thursday. Like I said, I'll be there. It's my regular rates, and we'll get busy. We'll find out what's happening in your life, what energies you've got in your field. If you watched the the broadcast from last week, we talked about having things in your energy field and how to move them out and identify them. And if you remember, my very special little assistant, and we moved in and out the energies there. If you had any questions on that, please let me know. And then Friday, I will be in Denver at the For Heaven's Sakes books. I think there's still a few slots left. It is $40 off my regular hourly rate. That's the least expensive you'll ever find. So you want to make sure and get your spot. You can also do a half hour if you want, or even 45 minutes. And then I'll do a flash sale, which I'll put up here, and my email as well, for Memorial Day, because I know a lot of you have that day off and you've really been wanting to get in to see me, and that's a perfect time to connect. So if there's any questions, if you'll please put them in the feed for me. And while that's happening, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about the beta class. And if you know of anybody who would like to be a part of the class, either share my information or share the video. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to beta test a self-love class. And quite a few of you had shared with me when I put just one little post on there that you would like to learn more about self-love. It is a huge subject. And so I originally had intended a book that I've been reading about self-love that I found to be wonderful. And there's questions in there that I resonated with. And so originally I had intended to get that together and send that out so everybody could take the test and send it back to me so I can see where you landed in there, because I'm going to make it a closed group. More than likely, I'm only going to allow 10 people in the group, so that we can all feel safe and get to know each other as we learn to love ourselves in a no judgment zone. But as soon as I did that, I had 2 groups of people that contacted me, and they're very different, although they're also engaging in self-love. And so one of them is a group for people whose mothering wasn't the best. So perhaps they don't love themselves because their mother didn't nurture them well, didn't treat them well. Maybe she was a drug addict. Maybe she just didn't know how. But it leaves us vacant, and it causes problems in our health when we're older. It causes problems in relationships because we're not sure how to find a healthy one. And it also causes problems in our financial abundance. And that one I absolutely know to be true. If you don't know your own self-value and you don't stand up for it, how can you truly know what you deserve to be paid? So here's how that looks. Sometimes when we have low self-esteem, this is a toughie. We will go out, and I've known people that earn $60,000 to $100,000 a year, and they're in debt and can't get out. There's an old adage that we live within our means, and that is true. But if you have self-love issues, you will either earn so little money because the inside of you is crying out, I want to be cared for. I want to be taken care of. And that deep cry, if it's not answered, will come out in your finances. And so instead of making what you need to make or desire to make, it'll go lower and lower and lower. And some of the people I've met have actually ended up where family or friends or even welfare was caring for them because their self-esteem was so low. It has to do with self-love. And I'm going to tell each and every one of you right now that's watching, and each and every one of you that's watching the recording, or if you replay this later, you are valuable. You are. You wouldn't be on this planet. You wouldn't be watching me right now. You wouldn't be the person you are if you were not valuable, because God does not make trash. He just doesn't. It's sometimes how we treat ourselves, and it's sometimes how we value ourselves. And I could kick your butt a lot more and tell you a lot more truth, but I want to save that for the group. So I am looking for people who are ready for a change, who are ready to do the hardcore work. And if you're not ready to do the hardcore work, don't even think about signing up for it. Okay? Not to be rude, but I'm being forthright. My time is valuable, your time is valuable. So I will post a list of questions, probably on my website, and then I'll put the link here, either on the YouTube or on the Facebook. And it'll be a list of questions, and you answer them honestly. And I'm going to divide the love group into 2 beta groups. And what a beta group means is it's something that I've come up with, it's something that I haven't fully developed, but I need your input on it. So when I did my beta spiritual level 1 class, the price was lower, and until it was more settled, and now it's more settled, and so the price is a little higher, and I'm probably going to raise it again after Memorial Day because the value is now there fully. So beta means you're testers. You get to give me feedback. You get to give me a level of understanding of how it's working for you. So there'll be a lot of things solid for you to do, but there'll be some things on the fly for you to do as well. And feedback for me, okay? So there's a certain level of patience that's required because it's going to be a very good relationship, but it'll be a working relationship, okay? 2 groups in the self-love. One is going to be for people whose parenting through the mom or the mom figure was not stellar and caused our self-esteem to be about this big, okay? That's one of the beta groups. The other beta group will be similar, but it could be the male or the female that caused self-esteem issues, and it's going to be more looking at the dynamic of who you are and what's holding you back and how to change that and how to transform it. And like I said, I'll probably choose only 10 people to be in each group because it needs to be tight. All right, hi Linda. So that's it. Anyways, so if you're just joining me, I will put the replay into the Facebook feed and again on YouTube. Are there any questions? We were talking earlier about, before we get off on my soapbox, we were talking about spirit beings. Are they real? And so I'm going to wait just a few minutes because there's a little lag on here. So if anybody has any questions tonight about spirit guides and are they real, if you would post them down below. If you're on YouTube watching the replay, if you can go ahead and post those, or my my website, or you can private message me and I'll be more than happy to answer you. Okay, so it doesn't look like there's any questions, but just to recap, spirit beings are real. They do help us. There are spirit beings that are a little bit less than higher vibration that can also be around. So some people are afraid. If they're hearing voices, are they real? People tend to be afraid of them. One gal says, how do I know that they're real and I'm not crazy? So we covered a little bit about that. But if you do have challenges and you hear voices in your head, it's always safe to err on the side of going to get some professional help and see what they have to say. I do have one question down here from Anna. It says, how many guides can a person have? As many as they need. Over the course of time, I've had anywhere from thousands to just a simple few, and it just kind of depended on where I was in my life. So just very quickly, when I first started in this business, there were lots of angels and beings that wanted to come and be with me, and they wanted to help me on my journey. But if you would imagine just for a moment sitting at a table at breakfast with like 8 women, and you're all drinking tea, and they're all trying to talk to you at the same time. It's confusing, and there's too much input. So I asked the guidance to narrow themselves down to a simple few. And so at any one given time, I might have as little as 2, and I might have 5 or 6. When I'm in session, I definitely have a lot more because I'm talking to your guides and my guides and the boss at the same time. All right, looks like I have a couple of other questions. Let's see if I can pull them down. Angie Aries Art says, I've been hearing ringing in my ears and heard that they are trying to communicate how to bridge the gap. Okay, Angie, awesome question. Simple answer is that when spirit beings are very high level vibrationally, they usually hang out in the 4th and 5th and higher dimensions, and when they come down, they have to lower their vibration to the 3rd dimension, which is where we are, in order to try to speak to us, so it does sound like a high twill or a high-pitched whine. And so far, after 12 years of practice, I have not found a way to slow that voice down and get it to sound like this. So what happens is I hear that high-pitched whine, I wait for it to be done, I usually take some deep breaths, and I ask God, Spirit, or Source to translate it so I understand it. It usually doesn't come right away. But later I'll have an aha moment and wonder where that thought came from. That's usually how I understand it. And if anybody else has any ways they bridge it, please put it down in the comments and share, as I'm always learning. Great question, Angie. Thank you. Tanya, often I hear someone yelling my name while asleep or loud knocking. Is this the guides? Tanya, it can be. Hang on just a sec. Let me check here. Okay, for you, I'm getting no that is not your guides. So that's a different being that's yelling at you, and I certainly wouldn't want it to yell at me. So you might want to have a talk with it and tell it that no more yelling. Also, the loud knocking, generally not a guide. It can be if you're not giving your attention easily. So Tanya, like I said, I will be at the bookstore in Denver on Friday. I would highly recommend that you schedule at least half-hour appointment with me so we can have a look at that and see what it is and discover it and give you some traction on it. So that number is 303-964-9339. It's the For Heaven's Sakes in Denver. So you might want to set that up. All right, Randy. Randy says, I know they're real. I just sometimes doubt whether it's in my head. Oh, Randy. I feel ya. So there are all kinds of vibrational frequencies around. There's all kinds of messages out there. Randy, if you think for a moment, I'm not sure how you're receiving me tonight, whether it's on a cell phone, or whether you're on a laptop that's wireless, but think about all the waves that are in the air right now, the radio, the Wi-Fi, all of those have frequencies. All of those have a vibration. And with the right device, we can slow the vibration or speed it up and see it or feel it or know it or sense it. So just like a cell phone, just like a Wi-Fi receiver, a laptop, that's how we are. And so we have all kinds of things coming at us. And so knowing, let's see here. Where did you go, Randy? There you are. So what you're hearing it is different levels of being in your head. And not to be laborious, Randy, but I do invite you to go to toolsofenergyprotection.com and hover over Work With Me. And the Spirit Level 1 class, it's all listed out what I teach in there. And that's a subject that we cover very succinctly and very deeply. And if any of my students that have taken that class are on tonight, if you want to put down in the text and let Randy know how you feel about the class, maybe give him a little testimonial. So if he chooses to step forward with that, but I do encourage you because that's a huge subject. And there are things that are in your head that talk to you like your ego, but there's also things outside of your head. And it just depends on how sensitive you are, but thank you for your question. Okay, hi Chelsea, nice to see you, and Tanya giving me a thumbs up. Are there any other questions? Oh good, Randy, I'm glad you like, sounds good. Any other questions for me tonight? Okay, so at the beginning of the broadcast, I asked you, or live stream, I asked you to think about if you choose not to learn more about spirit guides or spirit beings talking to you, and you continue to live in fear, you hear the loud knocking, you hear people screaming your name, where will you be a year from now? Are you still going to be afraid? Or are you going to step out and claim your divine right as a child of God's Spirit or Source? Like I told you earlier, you are loved. And right now in this planet, there's so much fear-mongering going on. It's time to really connect with the divine, to open your heart, to open your mind, and answer that call. That's what we were talking about on my inner circle tonight. Many are called. God's Spirit or Source calls many people, but few are chosen. So where are you going to be 5 years from now? Still scared? Still wondering what's happening to you? It's up to you. But I am here and I'm ready, willing, and able to share my knowledge with you. I've been in this business 11 years. I've seen 6,000, the other day I figured out 6,576 people one-to-one in my office or at the bookstore at events, helping them to find the answers that I have come here every Tuesday attempting to share and help you with. So my goal for this year is to reach thousands more and help them to feel fully empowered and no longer scared and step into their divinity and know how blessed and how loved they truly are. And what a wonderful world it is when we find ourselves loved and not beating ourselves up. There's so much that opens up. The law of attraction opens up. Good things come into your life so much faster. All right. Angie said she had 13 of them working on her heart, never thought to ask them for help. Good job. Thank you, Tracy, for your loving comment there. And Tony, thank you for just now joining us. When I do sign off, the replay will be here in the Facebook feed and also on YouTube as well. So if that's it, everybody, just a quick reminder, tomorrow at I'm ahead of myself, Thursday at For Heaven's Sakes Books, I'll be there doing one-to-one consultations, helping people to transform their lives. That number is 303-964-9339. And Friday is $40 off of my regular 1-hour session price. You can grab a half hour there, but be sure and get on that schedule because it fills up so fast. And then the pendulum class is coming up, and I know Anna was so good to put that up there for me, and now I've lost it again. But it's coming up in June. It's a dowsing class. It's a divining class. It is something that I researched in the Bible before I decided to teach it, so it does have biblical orientation to it. And Kendall, I love you. June 14th, 7 to 9. If I could just get all the dates in my head. I often think I have an airhead so I can channel all the spirits. But anyways, that's available. The dowsing class is fabulous. You're going to meet your guidance. You're going to get your spiritual gifts to help you walk forward. And if you want to know why dowsing, what good is it, it really helps you to know things you couldn't otherwise know. It's like your body knows them, but your mind doesn't. So it helps bridge that gap. So if you're wondering about an investment, you're wondering about your health, you're wondering about your romance, these are tools that can really help you to move forward and empower you. Let's see here. Nikki, before I go away, she says, how can we better embrace the spiritual connection? Open your heart. Bottom line. Learn to love yourself. Don't live in fear anymore. Very, very much bottom line. And sorry, that's it. My guidance is like, you're done. They were telling me I've told you everything you need to know. So I'm sorry these aren't as eloquent as I would like for them to be, but I really feel that they're a heart-to-heart chat on Tuesday night, and I get to share my time with you all, and you're so lovely and so caring to join me and take time out of your busy night. My desired outcome is that you get some information that you need, that you get some help that you need, and hopefully open your heart to connect to your divine connection and truly realize who you are. The times we're living in are tough. There's a lot of fear-mongering going on. There's a lot of unknown things going on. And so having that connection is like being part of a bee in a beehive. You know, they all sing the same tune. So let me check here real quick on next week, and it'll also give time in the lag of the feed to see if there's any more questions. And let's see here. Okay, so next week, oh, I love it. Next week, we will actually, okay, I think this is a little bit out of order. But next week, I am going to talk about dowsing and using the pendulum and how that can be a benefit to you. I will more than likely reveal more about how that is in the canonized version of the Bible so you can understand that. And I'm seeing a lot of people saying thank you, and I see no more questions in my feed. If you're seeing this in the replay, post a question down below. Facebook will notify me that you've posted something. If you're on YouTube, you can use that. If you're on my website, you can use that. And there are ways to contact me through email, which is my least responsive, but I will get to it usually within about 4 or 5 days. So I hope to see you soon. I'll put the information up on the flash sale on Memorial Day Monday. I can't wait to see you and come to the bookstore. I thought it would be a good time for me to reach out to everybody. So literally Thursday, Friday, and Monday, I'm going to be spending time with all of you that come to see me. So have a great, wonderful day. If you can't come to the bookstore, you can see me on the phone. Well, you don't actually see me, but you can make an arrangement to do that. And my schedule is on my website. So have a great and wonderful night. Big hugs.